I'm Sean Kay.
And I'm Sean Kay.
Yes, we both have the name Sean Kay. And welcome to Who Wins, the new show that I've started about superhero fights, fucking people fighting from movies, TV, gaming, all of that shit. We're going to shove them together in a big tournament and let them battle it out. This is Sean Kennedy, who is my, shall we say, associate partner. You know, you can call it whatever you want. How are you, Sean?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. Both of our names are Sean Kay, which is why we introduce ourselves as Sean Kay. It's quite hilarious. As you can see, this guy's fantastic. He did have green hair. He doesn't anymore.
Don't depress me by reminding me of that.
No.
It's going to be green again soon, it is.
Well, I hope so. I mean, he's made up for it with the shirt situation.
Yeah.
And he's got the torn thing. I mean, you've gone for a Riddler, let's be honest.
Yep.
Is it Riddler?
It is, yes. It's part of a Riddler costume.
He's making an effort, and that's what we like to see on this show. It's fantastic. This is episode 1, and if you watched the introduction, which I would hope you did, if you didn't, go back and watch it, because it sets up this episode very nicely. If you saw that episode, you will see that the first matchup we have is Katniss Everdeen against Daenerys Targaryen, which we have depicted nicely here with pop figures. That's Daenerys, and that's Katniss, and they're the two people that are fighting today. Daenerys Targaryen is, of course, from Game of Thrones, HBO's Game of Thrones, a very popular show. Katniss is weird, actually. These characters are from sort of differing. One's very much an adult, you know, let's show sex, let's show boobs, let's show violence kind of show. Mm-hmm. One's from a very sort of young adult, no, we're not going to show any of that. This is for teens sort of show.
Yeah, well, they're both adapted from books as well, and then into a live-action series, either a series of films or a series on TV. So there's a few things you could compare, and also both of them feature political intrigue as well.
Well, this is why I've got this guy on the show. He comes up with the facts. Yeah, it's an interesting battle, because these battles, what makes this different, this channel, is that these battles are drawn randomly. Like, I'm complete out of this bag which I use for work and shit. Literally, I draw them out of here, and we get whatever we get. There's superpower characters. There's characters just dudes with guns. There's a lot of different variation. This battle actually is a really good one for the first one because it's two powerful female characters. In terms of you know, the way they're represented in their shows, in their books. Two powerful female figures at it, and that's fantastic. Not at it, not like that. Let's not turn this
I'm sure if you go on pornparody.com, that's where you can find them.
Well, yeah, fighting each other is what we mean when we say at it. Usually what we do is we're going to draw every match at the end of every episode, and then the following week we'll do the battle. So obviously we'll have a week to kind of research, if there is any research we need to do on any characters. This week we've not had that. We've done the introduction and we've done this episode immediately after. But yeah, we'll debate this battle. And I am taking Daenerys Targaryen. The intro on Daenerys Targaryen, we'll bring it up. Daenerys Targaryen is a Targaryen from the world of Game of Thrones, from the world of Westeros. They're sort of feuding families, let's say, feuding houses. She's in one of them, Targaryen. Pretty much the last of the Targaryens, or one of the last of the Targaryens. They're pretty much a dying house, as it were. She's knocking about. And so far, in terms of the show, it's sort of built her up as this, and I've not read all the books yet. They've built her up as this sort of... She wants to take the throne. She wants to take the Iron Throne. And she's essentially building it. I mean, it's kind of weird on the show because they've not actually shown much of her journey. Like, she's not even in Westeros yet. She's just sort of chilling, doing her own thing, taking over cities and shit.
Having a picnic with dragons.
Yeah, pretty much. And she has dragons, by the way, which is a big thing, which we'll bring into later. So yeah, all you need to, like, the main thing about Daenerys, I think, she hasn't got much in terms of combat skills. She's not gonna kick your ass in a fight, but she has 3 fucking dragons, so that's the main deal with this woman. She's a strong woman. She's very strong-willed. She'll tell people what to fucking do, and she's very much like Katniss, to be honest. She's strong-willed, and she gets what she wants. Should be very interesting. I'm going to pass over to you now to talk a bit about Katniss.
Okay, well, my introduction to the Hunger Games series was basically through Battle Royale. That kind of death game scenario, fiction, whatever, I'm a huge fan of. And Hunger Games is quite standard of a death game series. It has a lot of characters forced into a situation under great pressure where they have to kill each other. Well, that automatically makes Katniss quite a badass character, having to deal with that pressure, being hunted and then to hunt back, but she still retains a strong morality. She knows what she wants, and later she kind of directs that towards the government trying to break her and her friends out of the iron fist of the government, forcing them to do those kind of things. She is skilled with bow and arrow, and she can mimic the call of a mockingjay, and she knows a lot about the woods, the environment, and nature, and she learns as she goes as well. She can kind of work out who to trust and what a possible solution may be to a scenario. So she's very adaptable. So that might make her quite a strong adversary for someone who has dragons. Maybe she'd be able to suss out any particular weaknesses or something like that.
Well, first of all, what I want to set out, because this is early on in the series, we're still working everyone to shit out. But in terms of arenas and such like that, these people will be battling. What I've sort of stated is sort of a generic city environment. A city on an island, surrounded by water, which will come in later, because one of our characters needs some water in their environment. But I would probably say, would there be a wooded area? I'd say maybe a wooded area. Maybe Katniss might be used.
Like Central Park.
Yeah. Somewhere where she can go get one with nature.
Yeah.
And use the trees and shit.
Mimic the mockingjay.
Yeah, because otherwise, I guess, are we going to change these environments? Rather than having, it's a generic city, which it probably would be for a lot of these, should we say for something like this, it could be like a big sort of foresty area, because that would benefit Katniss, but it'd also kind of fit in with what Game of Thrones is, and that kind of, rather than just having, Daenerys Targaryen in a big city, which doesn't really make sense, like a big sort of modern skyscraper-based city.
Yeah.
So, woods. We'll say big foresty area, outdoor area is the battleground.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, just to clarify, these guys get a set amount of time to prepare, so they will have time to prepare for these battles, which could come into play quite heavily. There is no morality involved in these battles. I want to state that as well. So anyone that would argue, but Superman doesn't kill, so that's a disadvantage, it doesn't matter, because let's just say they're in a scenario where it's a fight to the death. It's a fight to the death, but they don't die, if that makes sense. They know they're not going to die. It's kind of, imagine it in a virtual world or something like that, where it's a fight to the death within that world, but they're not actually, the characters aren't going to die, so therefore Superman doesn't have to worry about killing them. That's what we're setting out. It's a bit complicated, but we're going to get there. However, there are civilians in this city, and that could come into play. But not in this battle, because we're in the woods. So, Katniss versus Daenerys. Why do I think Daenerys is going to win this battle? She's got fucking dragons. I think she's going to win it because she's got fucking dragons. She's got 3 dragons. Now, just to clarify, these dragons, you might be arguing, what sort of size are they? Are they sort of fully formed like they are probably later on in the books? Well, I'll tell you what level they're at. We'll use the pictures here when it comes up. Basically, if you watch the recent series of the show, her dragons are going to be roughly the size they are in the recent series, which is, I think, like teenage years, sort of around there. Not that size. Not that. That's baby.
That's what I thought when
Not
you
that.
originally said about the dragons.
Pretty sizable.
Yeah.
These are big fuckers, but they're not fully formed. They're not these sort of things. The picture will come up in a minute. You like this fancy slideshow, by the way? We've got a fancy slideshow here of pictures.
There we go.
So that sort of size. You can see that. Just look up the picture. It'll be on the fucking Google and shit. sizable dragons, these can do some damage. Because the thing is, right, Daenerys on her own without dragons hasn't got any kind of chance. She's not got combat skills, she can't fight for shit, she's not going to be able to do damage. Especially against someone that can fight from range. But if she has dragons that are quite sizable, that's going to be a problem because she sends them out there. She just chills. She just sits at the back and just says, you know what, go for it. She'll hide under a rock, hide in a cave, whatever she needs to do. Katniss will have to fight these 3 dragons. She's dealing with them. Maybe if Daenerys has got some balls in her, which we all know she has, not literally, then as Katniss is fighting these dragons, Daenerys can come up behind her, just stab her with a knife. They like to do that in Game of Thrones. That could be pretty good. Pretty effective.
Wasn't she like married off to some barbarian or something?
Yeah, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, okay.
They fell in love. Shit happened. He died, and now she's on her own.
Well, I thought that could have made her like more like courageous, like standing up to whatever threat was in her way, kind of thing.
Well, she does this thing. She grows throughout the series. She goes from being this kind of young, I want to say slightly naive maybe.
Yeah.
Like, she goes from that to being this. She's the mother of dragons. She's powerful now. She's strong-willed. She knows what she wants. These groups. She's got like essentially her own army and all this sort of stuff. Like she's basically a queen in her little patch of land. She's got her own city at the moment in the show that she basically runs. So she's effective. Like she's strong-willed now.
Yeah.
She hasn't got any of that sort of stuff. And I'm sure she'd be more than willing to stab someone in the back. And probably has at some point. I can't remember now.
Well, this is Game of Thrones, as you said.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Everyone stabs everyone in the back, and everyone dies, and everyone kills everyone.
And then has sex with them.
Yeah. She comes from that's the world she comes from. Granted, Katniss comes from a world where they all kill each other as well, but that's the world that Daenerys has to be hard. She has to be tough, and she is tough.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's got fucking dragons.
But dragons can be taken down by an arrow.
Well, this is
And this is what brings Katniss Everdeen into it. You see. Yeah, as I said, she's good with a bow and arrow, and she's got a few tricks up her sleeve with the environment. Like, she seems to be basically, if you think of it like an RPG, she's like a survivalist type. Like, she knows how to track, she knows how to like look out for certain things, and she can tell the difference between certain poisonous like mushrooms and stuff like that. So she'd be in a wooded area, like she'd be able to like use the environment to her advantage, maybe.
Yeah, she is a survivalist, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
She is.
And with her bow and arrow, she's a crack shot from no matter distance. She's shown that she's been able to handle under pressure. So in my head, the situation could be like the dragons coming out of full force, and she'd be able to roll out of the way and fire a few arrows and stuff.
Fire though, would she be able to dodge fire? You know what, right? This is another fantastic thing about this battle. I love this battle, and the girl on fire. Katniss is the girl on fire. Daenerys had to walk into fire in order to become the mother of dragons in the show.
Okay.
So there's quite a link there, which I quite like. But let's be honest, Katniss ain't going to survive an onslaught of a dragon coming at her. Blah, fuck, that was a really bad impression of fire. Blah. Like fire, like... Can she roll out of the way of that, really? Like,
I reckon she could.
I don't know how sort of coordinated these dragon attacks will be.
Yeah, it depends if all three of them are coming at
once. I mean, But like I say, Katniss is a survivalist, I'll give you that. She's a survivalist, she knows what she's doing in those sort of areas. And she's a damn good shot with that bow and arrow. And provided that they can actually pierce the dragon's arm, which I think for this battle we'd probably say they can, because otherwise, let's be honest. So, yeah, I mean, you got it. And here's the thing, because they've got the preparation time, this is the thing, Katniss can make things like steel arrows, she can make arrows out of harder materials that can cut through.
Yeah, that don't burn so easily, maybe. You were saying before about like the coordination of the dragon's attacks. Well, bearing in mind that they're kind of like, as you said, teenage, like kind of teenage age. I imagine them more as maybe they might be a little bit more coordinated than like baby dragons or whatever. But I still imagine them as being a bit like headstrong, just like going into the attack and being a bit clumsy every now and then, maybe.
They're not going to be. They're not going to be there. They're not going to be at full force, But these are still big, fuck off enough dragons.
Yeah.
Like, there's still going to be a threat. There's 3 of them. If there was one of them, alright, maybe. But, I mean, I suppose, on the other side of things, Katniss, if she can take out the dragons, it's probably game over, because I don't think Daenerys is going to do much after that, really. Like, unless she can hide. And at some point, Katniss will find her. And, it's going to be difficult
Well,
for her.
Daenerys, like, if you think of it like that she sends for dragons forward, would she keep one back as protection, or would she send all 3 and then go hide?
That's a good point. Tactics. What
Yeah.
are we gonna do? Oh, that's a good question.
Or would she have a knife or something, like you said, to defend herself, and is that enough?
I don't know, because theoretically, if Katniss can somehow dodge the dragon, if she can get to Daenerys, obviously Daenerys can hide, she can whatever, but Katniss knows wooded areas, she knows forests, she knows what she's doing in terms of caves, and she can find caves and stuff like that. She might be able to find Daenerys before, take her out without even the dragons being a threat, but she would have to dodge the dragons. It's a good question as to whether Daenerys would actually have all the dragons attack. Would she keep one with her? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what she'd do in that situation.
It just makes me think of, I'm very referential as it is, but like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where they have like minions that go forth, but if you kill the person in charge of the minions, then it's game over, pretty much.
Yeah.
These are dragons, these are wild beasts, they are real things within this world. So you could say that they just carry on attacking even if something happened, but I imagine that if their owner was in danger, then they'd come back no matter what, So.
By the way, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an anime. If you've not seen it, I haven't personally. Well, I've seen like an episode of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an anime series. It's very good, apparently.
Yeah, people with supernatural powers, basically, and they usually send out, like, in the later series, they send out like a monster chained to them, kind of thing. And if the monster is killed, or if the owner is killed, then it's they have a connection to each other.
So there you go. Like, if the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is listening to this, is watching this, maybe a sponsor, something like that. You could sponsor us. We could mention, because we just mentioned it on the show. I don't know. Publicity is one thing. But yeah, what was I going to say? The purpose of the battle is Katniss versus Daenerys. So if Katniss can take out Daenerys, that's it. Game over. It doesn't even matter if the dragon's still alive.
Okay.
Katniss does not have to kill the dragons in order to win this battle. She just has to kill Daenerys. So if she wanted to somehow avoid the dragons and just take on Daenerys, then obviously that would be possible. Presumably, though, Daenerys would hide or something like that.
Okay, that makes it interesting then.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Daenerys would have to bear that in mind, I guess.
Absolutely.
Like you said about how they go all out knowing that they're going to come back to life at the end of it. Like they're kind of fighting to the death, but they know that they're not going to die.
Yeah.
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 Well, in that sense, then she'd know that, okay, I can't be killed. Because that'll end the battle. So she'd probably know to like either hide or protect herself in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, let's wrap it up anyway, because this is it's a closer battle than I actually originally thought it would be. Because initially I was thinking Daenerys has dragons, fuck that shit, she's gonna win this battle. But actually, no, you make some good points. Katniss, does she even have to fight the dragons? Obviously, she'd have to avoid them. If she can find Daenerys, if she can, like, Daenerys hasn't got much of a defense without those dragons. If she can take her out from a distance, she has those arrows. She's good with them.
I mean, she's gone against some pretty fantastical beasts in the Hunger Games series, and she's managed to like maneuver around them and adapt to their techniques and stuff.
Those flipping weird dog things in the first. Was it the first film?
Yeah, and wasn't there some monkey things in the second one?
Yeah, probably. But yeah. So actually, it's a much closer battle than I thought it was. So that's why we're going to leave it up to you. We're going to do that anyway. We're going to leave it up to you. In the comments below is where you vote. Vote for Daenerys, vote for Katniss, whatever the hell you want. I might set up votes on, like, I don't know, Facebook and Twitter and shit like that as well, because we're going to get stuff like that set up. But mainly the comments section. And then, like I said, we're going to leave this for a month. You've got a month to decide. And then after the month, we will compile the results. Because I want to leave it a month so that people have time.
Yeah.
To actually, get on here, vote and all that shit. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So please vote below for this battle. Before we go, we are going to draw next week's battle from the fancy bag of mine. I'm going to turn it that way because that way is a bit faded.
Well, you've already shown it them
I've
now.
had this for like, I've had this bag faded.
Secrets out of a bag.
So here we go. Right. I'll tell you what. You pick one and I'll pick one.
Okay.
There we go. So this is next week's battle. Don't ignore this for now. Like I say, the main battle is Daenerys and Katniss, but this is next week. Let's see what we get.
It's gonna be something I have no idea about.
It's possible. It's very possible. Go on.
Sarah Pazzini.
We'll pull that up to the camera so you can see it. Sarah Pazzini. Anyone who's not aware of who Sarah Pazzini is Witchblade. I think there's only comics. I don't think there's ever been. I feel like there might have been like an attempt at a film at some point, but I'm not sure. But research it if you're not sure who she is. Witchblade. In fact, I'll tell you what. I have flipping comics over here. Can you pack them up? They should be down there.
We have to.
I'll tell you what. We'll edit this out. through the power of editing. This isn't even going to be in it. You're just going to not even see this. Well, no, you'll see this, but you won't see.
Anyway, get on with it.
Through the power of editing, here is Witchblade. Witchblade, Volume 5. So Sarah Pazzini's, I believe that woman. She's not even in the Witchblade stuff in this. She's having a baby. But that's Witchblade. She's got a big gauntlet and shit. That is the first competitor. Another female. That's interesting. Because no males so far. Still no males. Sarah Pazzini, Witchblade against Buffy Summers.
Okay.
Who, of course...
First one I actually really know.
Oh, yeah. Although you're going to be hard-pressed
to compete with you.
To persuade me to give up Buffy, because I am a massive Buffy fan. My favourite TV show of all time is Buffy and Angel. So that's the battle for next week. All female, once again, Buffy versus Sarah Pazzini. And thank you for watching this episode of Who Wins. I've been Sean Kay.
I've been Sean Kay.
How long are we going to be able to do that? Really? I don't know how long we're going to be able to do that.
Or just call me Kennedy.
Yeah. Kennedy Keatley. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you very much for watching. And this has been Who Wins. Daenerys Targaryen, Katniss Everdeen, who wins? You decide.
Cheers, folks.